Okay, so when I got my CRF250L here in the background, I was going over some of the upgrades I wanted to do to it. And I pointed out to my dad that I don't really like taillight assembly. Well, he started looking at his 250L and he realized that his not only is longer, but when you're riding, it'll flop around more. It's a little looser, it's kind of plastic. And at first we were thinking, well, maybe when I took mine off, we'd give it to him. But the more we looked into it, kind of both decided that we wanted a shorter, cleaner setup. So what he did is he ordered the DRC new taillight section. Has a license plate holder on it and a new tail light with a license plate light under here. So we're going to go ahead today and take a look at installing this on his 250 and see how it looks. Okay, so we did buy this DRC tail light ourselves, but DRC, if you're listening and you'd like to see us do some more products, be more than happy to put one on my bike or any other thing you got. Okay, as far as the disassembly goes, you've got some stuff mounted through here, so we just got to go through the process of getting all this out, everything that we can see that needs to come. So we'll work on getting all that stuff out. Haven't even looked at the instructions yet, but we'll get there. Okay, so after taking the fender off, kind of gives you an idea of the electronics. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to get this stuff out of the way, get the electronics unhooked, and then we'll start looking at it, and we'll show it in a second. But he also bought an adapter from CRF's Only to make this a little bit easier of an install. So we'll see if that actually turns out. Okay, so after taking off the 4 main bolts that hook it to the frame, started to take stuff off, but all these connectors are done. So right here's a little bracket that holds this in, and so we're gonna peel this back. I have to put the phone down, but inside here, there's all your connectors. So I'm hoping once we peel this back, we can take off the connectors, and then we're gonna have the stock parts off. Okay, so we have everything on the ground. Here is the new part. We ordered from CRF's, again, an adapter to make the wiring a little easier. For the light, that's what you get underneath. So we've got some instructions, some crimpers. So we got to get the turn signals off and mounted there, but you can already see all this equipment and all this, that's now going to be gone. And so that's going to look a lot better once we get that done. Okay, so one of the steps is, this is the stock housing. You got to pop out the turn signals. So holding one here, and this rubber grommet's going to have to go back into the new one. So let me show you real quick what we did.
You want to put that screw in.
Okay. Very tiny, important screw. So then what we did, I'm going to pull the turn signal away. With the turn signal pulled away, you can see that metal bracket, and that holds essentially a fixed nut. But I just took a screwdriver and pushed that back in. Okay, then you take this off. Be sure to notate whether blue or orange is left or right. Okay, so now the next part, kind of easy with 2 people, might be a little harder with 1, is you just need to take, if you can see in here, this rubber, this needs to be pushed in and then out so you can pop the turn signal out. We're doing it with 2 people. One person's getting it lined up and the other person's coming in and pushing. Not gonna film that, but yeah, you just gotta, screwdriver, flathead, something, just get that folded in and pushed out. Okay, so we've got one side on. I kind of like to learn from one side before showing the other. So what you gotta do is make sure you line it up right, because it doesn't matter which way you go. Don't do that backwards. But you take the stock grommet. If you're using the stock headlights, you just got to work this way back through. We're just using screwdrivers and being careful not to cut anything. And then once it's in, and we'll try to show it, when you go to put this metal bracket back in, because this is a more compact unit, the back side of this part runs into a clearance issue here. And so we have to go in at an angle first to get by it. And so what helped was having somebody on this side pulling the wires out. And so we'll try to show that here on this side. Okay, so we got that on, ran the wire through this bracket, and that's where the screw is going to go. So it's the back side, so we can see again the fixed nut is going to point through here. So I'm going to go through with that part first, and my dad's going to go ahead and pull the wiring if I need the space. And we're just going to come through here and eventually get through. And I'm probably going to have to put the phone down to get this through, but you can see it coming through here. So that's what you do to get this part back on. Okay, so we're starting to get an idea of what this is going to look like. Wires are prepped. Now underneath here, once you get everything wired, this little plate comes with it, and we'll get that mounted up under here. If you look on here, we've got the main bolts that hook this up to the chassis, and right here, so it looks like there's 6 bolts. And then from here, I mean, if you want to wire, you can wire it however you want. But we'll go ahead and follow up through here how we're going to wire this one. And this cable that came with it's pretty long. We might have to cut that. Okay, through some simple trial and error, we found out that orange goes to red and yellow goes to red. Black goes to black though. So what I'm doing is that bike's actually on and I'm keeping these from touching. So there's the brake light, and the license plate light feeds off of the brake light. So now if he taps the brake light, go ahead, we're lit up. So then from your factory connection buried inside that bundle, we don't need the connector for the license plate light anymore. So now what we got to do is just clean up this bundle, cut wires to length, and reconnect the turn signals. Quick redirection, don't point the wires through here, tuck them up and under. And then these 2 screws are from that plate. Okay, so here's their plate that tucks in and goes. And so there's just a little bit of wiring right here. All shrunk wrap, waterproof, should be fine. Okay, he got a little fancy and soldered the joints. Now there's no worries. Okay, so we'll slip the heat shrink tubing he had over it, and then we'll button everything back up. There it is, all said and done. Boy, does that look better. Looks like a dirt bike now. He might change the turn signals later on to LED ones, but for right now, for just cleaning up the tail, that looks so much better. And again, down here is all the parts. So let's swap cameras real quick and see how the LED light looks. Okay, that looks so much better. Looks really good. Let's check it out. Turn the bike on. We've got the LED light on, and if I put my hand under here, you can see the license plate holder light. And there we go. We're in Washington State, and we don't want to try one of the lights where the tail light splits with turn signals, so we're going to always stick with turn signals. So since we didn't want to do that, I think this thing's perfect. This looks really good. So at this point, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll have more upgrades coming down the line. I think now that we've got this look coming done, we might be talking him into an exhaust soon, so hopefully that happens. So, all right, thanks for watching. If you have any thoughts about this, be sure to put them in the comments below. Thanks for joining us.